Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of our In the Spotlight. I am Laurel Starks, your host, and I am thrilled to introduce you to our guests. We have got Damian and Louis Tamayo, and they have literally exploded on the scene in Miami in these past few years as it relates to working and serving their family law community. So I can't wait for them to share all about their business and what all this has done, the divorce real estate niche has done to their business and how they are growing. Together, they have sold over 200 units. They have well over 70 million in Miami that they have sold. And so they've got just a wealth of knowledge and a ton of experience. They have truly embedded themselves in their community, in their family law community. They just hosted up their first annual happy hour where they had judges, attorneys, magistrates come and they got to socialize and build those bonds a little bit deeper, but they keep giving back. And I don't want to steal all their thunder, but I want them to give us a little bit more as to what they're doing, especially even with some nonprofits and so forth in their area. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So you guys got into the divorce niche at or around about 2020, and you all started getting into that space. So tell us a little bit about your business. What is your business structure now, and what got you into the divorce business, and then your journeys to where you are now?
Well, we started doing the regular real estate residential thing, and then slowly we were meeting with other attorneys. And they would contact us and ask us, hey, can you do me a favor and just give me the value of a property? Mm. We're like, okay. And we did that. And then before you know it, they contacted us to be the listing agents for the property. And then I was like, okay. Then another attorney contacted us, asked for the same thing. And we did a comparative market analysis. They used it in court. Then we found ourselves testifying in court. And we were like, what is this? And we started thinking, well, maybe we can do something more about this. Maybe this could be a little niche for us. And we started communicating, networking with other attorneys. And before you know it, we were doing a lot more divorce real estate.
Wow, that's incredible. So that was like in 2020, right? Yeah. Right around, that's a tough time to start anything new during COVID.
Right, yes.
But you all did nevertheless. And then you got yourself educated a little bit because you realized that it was, a niche that probably wasn't served and something you probably felt like you did pretty well.
We did, but it wasn't like the training or the education that we really wanted. It was just something that was really quick.
Yeah,
it wasn't a great experience.
We went with the norm mentality. You know how they have designations.
Yeah.
And you do a course for a couple of hours, and then you can hang that little name under the acronym under your name. Mm-hmm. It wasn't an in-depth training that we did, but we felt that since we were working this niche, we wanted to be able to, in our marketing, put certified divorce real estate expert, whatever the heck it was going to be.
But basically, we didn't know what we were doing. We were realtors.
We learned by mistakes, by error, trial by error.
Right, but we were realtors dealing with divorce, and we were just treating it as a regular real estate transaction. Yeah. We knew immediately that this was not the same. We had to learn more and be better at this because we're just realtors, and it's not like we're anything different than other realtors. So we had to find a way to make us stand out and know what we really are doing. Mm-hmm. So that's what we found alumni.
What were some of the mistakes you were making?
I think a lot of time. Well, first and foremost, the neutrality is difficult. Especially it's still difficult. But to be aware, to be conscious of the fact that there's a good possibility one of the spouses is being a real, and the other spouse might be an innocent victim, or maybe not. But either way, when you find yourself in between two people in that in that dynamic, it's not easy to stay neutral, so it takes a lot of training. Mental training, the basics that we learn, how to handle it. We're here to do one thing: follow the orders of the court. That's what we're there for. We keep comforting them, telling them, hey, listen, we're only here. They vent to us. Yes, we understand, but honestly, I'm just here to help with the sale of the home. And we learned quickly too that even though they might be bickering and stuff like that, you might think they're not talking, but you find out soon enough that they are communicating, and you end up being like this. You look like a sucker, because now you realize they were communicating the whole time, and but they're talking to you like if they're not.
Yeah, that's something definitely. And sometimes when they are communicating and they say, "Oh, well, the agent told me this," or they share a screenshot or something, and you had no idea that was going to be, shared, and then it can blow up sometimes.
Yes.
The case.
And it has happened to us.
We learned documenting everything.
Oh,
We
yeah.
document everything in text or handwriting. Now, are there times we make phone calls? Yes, because we don't want to document it. Anything important or what question that has to be asked, we make sure that we have a transaction coordinators for all our transactions. We use a company that we give them our file, and then they, tell us all the important dates. They're on top of the title company. They're on top of the other agents, the inspections, what's next. They give us everything. So we set up for each one of our listings, we have a WhatsApp for that, a group for that. And then we have one with the spouses. So we put the property address, and it'll be out husband, whatever his name is, and then in what a spouse, wife, whatever her name is, and we communicate through there, because we've learned that we're going to end up in court a lot of times. Recently, yesterday, I had to airdrop him my whole conversation with
Text
my wife.
conversation
And,
with one party, and we had to show that.
Yeah, we had to show that. She's saying one thing, but the texts are saying another. So, you learn to protect yourself. Those weren't things we did in the beginning. We were like, what is that?
Yeah.
I just called them, and, I didn't say that.
Right.
So what are some of the things you go to court for?
CMAs,
we go there to defend what we provide to the attorneys.
Different scenarios. I was out of town on Monday with my sons. Well, I have another son besides the one that works with us, and there was an emergency hearing on a particular file, and I had to run back from Chinatown and find a place to sit down, and 15-30 minute hearing, and they were asking me about the value of the property. Has she cooperated? Has he cooperated? What's the issue? Why are we back in front of the courts? Things like that. The CMAs, like you said, historical CMAs as well. We do a lot of that as well too.
So a lot of it has to do with property values, but then also when you have a case, you're kind of the eyes and ears for the court.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of times spouses just don't want to cooperate. Funny, also, we just got the file. Damian was appointed special magistrate for a property, so he's going to sign for the spouse if they don't cooperate. I spoke to the guy, he's a Cuban guy, so I called him, and very nice. I set up a listing appointment and intake same day because I want to move quickly with him. We have it on Friday. So we'll go there nice. We go there, try to do it nice, but if he doesn't,
we go there
if
nice.
he doesn't, when we started the conversation, it's like, I'm not selling the house, I'm not doing this, and then by the end of the conversation, he was saying, I owe her $200,000, I can't pay it, we're gonna have to sell the house. So maybe we keep going down that road. If not, he might be signing the listing agreement.
So when you're given that power and the authority, that's a lot of power and authority you're given. Where does the CDRE Code of Ethics come in to ensure that your power is kind of balanced?
For me, it's staying neutral.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes we hit it off with one of the spouses. Or, sometimes it's easy. The one spouse is out of the house, they're cooperating, the in-spouse is cooperating, we get the house under contract quickly, and the in-spouse is like, hey, can you help me find a new place? I'm going to get all this money, and, I want to, I want to buy something else. In the past, we'd jump on it. So now we think about it differently. Of course, now I'm hiring Nicholas, my son, because he is part of the brokerage. So we could always use him, or if we hire somebody else, we could use them to facilitate that. But, we have to try to stay neutral. So most of the time tell them, maybe down the road, maybe not right now, that we need to finish this transaction. We can readdress that in the future. And 9 times out of 10, they don't reach back out. They, that's been the case.
Right.
So.
I think also it's reminding them of the instructions of the court order, and that keeps them like, oh, okay, yeah, we gotta put the house on the market quick, or we gotta put it in 5 days, or so we kind of remind them this is what we have to do. So doing that makes the process a lot easier for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does your business look like now? I mean, what percentage of your business is divorce and what percentage of it is what we call, traditional real estate?
98, right? 98%.
98.99.
98.9. Yeah, no,
Almost
98%.
100% of your business is divorce real estate.
We have right now listings, and then like 4 of those are under contract. And in my mind, I'm going through them. They're all divorced. They're all divorced. I mean, I'll have one next week that's coming up, but it's like I've sold them house. They're a client, but a family as well. So
we have a listing that just went under contract, and it's a person who wants to sell their house. That's the only one that we have that's not divorced. Yeah. Everything else that we have, every listing we have, is a divorce. Yes.
How many listings did you get last week?
Last week was crazy.
Last week, I know we had 2 different files that each one had three properties. 3 properties. I have to check, but I think maybe like 9 altogether or something like that. We're still They're not listings yet. They're not signed listings yet because we're waiting on orders. We've learned the hard way that we'll be running to the house to get the listing agreement signed, and then later there's no order, and then it's just 2 people fighting, and you're stuck in the middle. We have right now a family law attorney that they agreed to sell. I think he did it on purpose. They agreed to sell. We don't have an order, and he wants to cancel. She wants to keep the house on the market. He says he's gonna sue us if we don't cancel the listing. We're like, hey, listen, we can't. She's on the deed. We put a temp off market, so until they figure out what they're gonna do. We have that setting here. I don't know if you have it out west in California. Temporary off market as opposed to canceling it. You just remove it from the market, and then you can just activate it again in the future. So they're fighting. No, and then the funny thing, that attorney, how many cases has he referred us? Like in the past, the same attorney that's threatening to sue us has sent us
3 listings.
Like 3 listings or something like that.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
But yes, we do have, it's crazy. But we do have attorneys that call us. They say, hey, I'm going to pointing you to a case of mine. And we've learned, we say, okay, great. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We're looking forward to working with you and your clients. But
start looking for the orders.
Send us the order.
Orders. Yeah.
And that's it.
Right. So that is phenomenal. So how is your business? I mean, when you think back to, you all have been licensed for 10 years. The first half of your business was not divorce focused. Fast forward to now, it is. What are some of the biggest ways your business has changed?
Business to business is not regular real estate. I don't even see myself as a real estate agent. I really don't. I don't know what I want to call it.
That. It's cool to hear him say that, because I feel the same way. I don't feel like I'm a realtor. I feel like I am a certified divorce real estate expert. We're in our world of real estate, but we're also in the world of law.
It's totally different.
And it's just
different.
And we are such a resource for these attorneys. They are hungry for our information.
A lot of them get paid from the sale of the home.
So yes, that's another.
We see the liens we have sold properties. You look and there's like 3 liens from different attorneys. By the time we get it, there's these liens on there, and we're like, we learned, pull that title when you think there might be, there's some issues. We learned that through our classes, and sure enough, that's gold right there, because we had a closing, a couple recently, really nice neighborhood, great house. They had to bring $18,000 to the closing table that they didn't have. Guess who had to cut their commission? Guess who else had to chip in the other agent and to make it happen? What are we going to do? But, hindsight's 2020, right? But now we know better. When we see that there's issues, we're pulling that title to see what other liens are on there.
Yeah, that's incredible. And to your point, you've got a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. So when you say you've gone from being a realtor to being a certified divorce real estate expert, that's a lot of responsibility you've got. You've got to ensure that court orders are followed, that they're carried out. You've got to make sure you are the eyes and ears. You have documented. You have got pristine files and notes, and so that you can inform the court when need be. You've got these people whose lives are in limbo that until you get that house sold, there's a lot of cash flow and that has not been freed up. You've also got people living in toxic environments, and then attorney, you've got law firm cash flow as well that's on your plate. So it's a big responsibility when you take on that title.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about what have you been doing to get, into in your family law community. I mean, you guys hosted up a happy hour, your first annual happy hour, and tell us a little bit about that and some of the nonprofit work that you've also been involved with.
Well, the idea of the happy hour, attorney appreciation, came up one day, and we were like, why don't we do this? Why don't we do like a little happy hour, a few hours, and see who will come? And those who do come, let's just network with them and talk with them. And we had like 30, 40 people, 40 attorneys. And
wow.
Judges
magistrates.
like retired judges that are now like mediators and stuff. No judges per se.
Right. But general magistrates.
General magistrates,
It was a great turnout. We had a great time. And it got us also, face to face with a lot of the attorneys that we are worked with, but through papers and phone calls that we don't get to see them in person. So we got to see them in person.
Buy them a drink.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a great experience. I highly recommend it for those who've been already working as a CDRE. That's a great way of networking and getting your face out there, and that's really good. And then also through meeting other attorneys, we learned about KidSide. KidSide is an organization here in Miami that helps low-income families that are going through a divorce. They provide resources for the children that are involved.
It's mental health resources.
Yeah, it's a fantastic organization, and we are sponsors of it. We just love it. We wanted to do something back to the community since we started, and we finally found one that we really, really like. And I was telling Louis, I think we should start looking at other organizations that we can be part of and help with our community.
Yeah, we see what the children go through.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's what really motivated us to join KidSide, because
behind all that bickering that we see.
Yeah, we see firsthand. When we get to a property and children are involved, and it's sad because a lot of them are they're so used to the arguing and the fighting that it's just very difficult.
When we started in real estate, one of our things was for marketing, of course, put that post up with our sign, with our names, with our phone numbers in front of the house. And now, when there's children involved, it's like not happening. Because imagine a little kid coming home from school and seeing a for sale sign.
It's like a constant reminder.
And my name and his name's on it with our phone numbers. I mean, this kid's gonna find me someday and say, "Hey, you sold my."
Right.
I'm just kidding on that part, but still, that's a trauma for a kid.
It is.
Those little things can, again, another example of how this is not regular real estate in any way. Regular real estate.
Right. Wow. You all have literally become family law professionals handling the real estate aspect of a case. You've made that shift, and that's absolutely incredible. What advice would you give to a realtor who's looking to get into the divorce real estate niche?
Take your course.
Well, obviously, yeah. Obviously, join alumni. That's
Best
the only.
You'll ever like if not knowing. I mean, if you're really going to pursue it. Like for us, it was different because, and we were actively watching everything you guys do, and it's a great, like the business plan you give about going knock doors. We don't have time to knock doors at this point, but it makes sense because as soon as you get a couple of attorneys, like what happened with us, but through a different channel, as soon as you get a couple of attorneys and you do a good job and they're impressed, they know another attorney, and that's like the best marketing there can be in this environment. And before you know it, you're getting all these calls from all these different attorneys, and do the CMAs for free. Now we don't have to do them for free if we don't want to. Our time is money, and people will pay us to do the work. And 95%, maybe even more, of the times we do a CMA, it ends up becoming a listing.
Right.
I mean, in the beginning it wasn't as much, but now it's like, hey, we need this for mediation. And as soon as we know that it's two attorneys we know, we're like, oh, listing time. Because we know we're going to get it because they're going to recommend us both to their clients, and clients listen to their attorneys.
And even though there's a lot of attorneys in Miami, it's a small group, believe it or not. So usually when we hear from an attorney that they want us to be in a case, we're getting a call from the opposing counsel calling us, and we're like, oh, okay, they know each other, and we know them, so that makes it a lot easier. Also, when they say, who do you recommend to list the property? Well, I recommend, the Grass Tamayo group. They're like, okay, I've worked with them on other cases. They're good. So it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier, but that's getting in it. Saying that you want to be in divorce real estate is one thing. It's doing the training, doing the courses, getting really involved in it. That's all going to help you.
And just be persistent.
Yeah.
You can't give up on it. The business to business aspect of it, you can't disconnect from that, because this is not like cold calling or Facebook ads or anything. You got to put in the sweat equity.
Yeah.
You got to get out there. And fortunately for us, by the time we took our course, we had already done our method of door knocking. We just added the other insights we got through the course to this, and it's taken us even farther. And that was our objective in the first place, to take our business to another level.
Yeah, another recommendation I would say is, have a lot of patience, because we are so used to, as realtors, that, okay, you get a listing, market it as much as you can, get it under contract, get to closing, and we're done. The closing is done. And in divorce real estate, it's a long process. And sometimes the closing doesn't get there until a lot later, because there's a lot of things that happen in between. So you have to have a lot of patience. You have to go in and just put your mind to think that you're helping these people. You're helping them into their next phase of their life. And if you go that way, the closing will happen. You'll get paid, and that's fine. But you have to have a lot of patience.
And like you said, sometimes, get a case, but you need the order. And so we have kind of these stop gaps within the process. That's excellent advice. Shifting gears a little bit to divorcing homeowners. When you've had the experience that you all have had, you see a lot of things. And if you could sort of go back and give general advice to those who are getting divorced or who are going to be facing something like this, what advice would you give to them?
If their kids involved, prioritize them.
Yeah.
Prioritize them.
Think of them more than about the house.
Easier said than done, but prioritize the kids.
Yeah. I think what I would tell these homeowners or the divorcing couple, that you've had the order. You've done everything you can in your case, but the time has come that you have to sell the house. You have an order to sell the house. So it's going to benefit you to fix what you need to fix of the house. Do what you can to get the best money possible of your house to move on. Because a lot of these divorcing couples, they're upset. They're angry at each other. So I'm not going to, like Louis said, I'm not going to fix the backyard. I'm not going to paint the house. Do it because you're going to get more money back when you sell your house. So that's kind of like a mind frame that we try to get these clients into, because they're mad and they don't want to do anything, and they refuse to fix anything, but it's to their benefit. As angry as you are, let's fix this house up so that you have more money coming in.
I like to believe that where we are right now, we've had situations where we're given a court order, the house has to be sold. In our intakes, conversing with the husband and conversing with the wife, they've communicated to us that she'd be willing for him to give her a certain amount of money because she knows her child lives in that house, or vice versa. The husband's out and the wife's in, and he'd be willing to, if she was able to give him the money, he really doesn't want to throw his kids to the street. And we've turned around and said, hey, do you know that your ex-spouse is willing to buy you out for this much? Well, yeah, but that's now, but they didn't want to do it then. And I said, well, but I mean, if they were to give you the money, would you like to get it done? And they would say, yeah. And we facilitated that, and we haven't made a penny. And wow. I don't care. I really don't. I'm glad for the kid, and I believe in karma. You know what I mean? I think that was a good cause on our part. More listings are coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. And then ultimately, an order is only as good as the two people enforcing it, because if they both agree on something else, the order is invisible. So, we've been able to help not a lot of people, but in some cases, the husband was like not even in Dade County, and he's like in North Florida or something like that. And she was able to get the money and pay him, and she kept the house. And, okay, we didn't get a listing, but who cares? Kids are going to the same schools, seeing their same friends, sleeping in the same bed. Okay, parents broke up, but at least it's only one trauma as opposed to like having to move into an apartment or something, so.
You've got an abundant mindset. So, sort of on the same lines as what advice would you give to divorcing homeowners, what advice would you give to divorce attorneys as it relates to real estate?
We would give them our list of things to write on your orders.
I think that's it.
No, this isn't it.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
using this is a prop. Well, we have a list of what to write on your orders because the orders are everything. For example, we get an order. When I see an order that says, so and so to agree to sell the marital property located in ... period. That's it. We appoint Tamayo Group to do the sale. Oh my God. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing about the house must be listed in X amount of days. The listing price will be chosen between the couples. If they cannot agree on the suggestion by the realtor will appoint the price. If we receive an offer within X percentage of the asking price, they must accept the offer. And I can go on and on. We have a list.
Because that order, when it comes to the selling of the property, is so vague.
Mm-hmm.
So many things happen.
Yeah.
And it's like we're in this craziness of there's that room for sabotage.
Yeah.
There is that room for manipulation from one party to the other. From experience and from learning in our trainings is that we started writing down a list of
Our wish list
of what we would want attorneys to think of us when we are listed as a listing agent for the property. So we have like 10 lines of what we ask. And believe it or not,
they call us asking for it.
They call us for
attorneys.
it.
Hey,
And when we receive the court order, it is exactly what we've written.
Right. And
So it's like they just copy and paste into the order.
Yeah.
And,
What you
but
need.
it just makes the whole process easier.
Yeah, for
And it's-
everyone.
and for everybody. Yeah. So
Yeah.
doing that, I think for an attorney is to speak with your listing agent who's appointed on the case and ask them what would they want to be mentioned in the court order to make the transaction a lot easier.
That's excellent. That is
Yeah.
excellent advice. You guys, I could sit here and talk to you all day. You all are doing phenomenal work. I am so proud to have you all as part of our community. I know that your community is thankful for the work that you're doing, and just keep it up, you guys. So thank you for meeting with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
All right.